Toy Power Podcast is a free podcast made possible by the support of our awesome Patreon sponsors. Head to toypowerpodcast.com and see how you can help.
Oh yeah, this is power.
Hello and welcome to Toy Power, the podcast where we talk toys and everything pop culture. G'day, it is Trent here, and it is super wonderful to have your company today for episode 402. This week on the show, we got a jam-packed episode with a special guest as we hit up all the latest news. We do a Lego Masters recap of the final 2 episodes of Grand Masters of the Galaxy, a Radical Rewind recap, and the next film has been announced as well. And then we're going to do a little bit on my book reveal, which is very exciting. Joining me today in the Toy Power studio, we've got Ben.
G'day.
Frank.
Hello.
Scotty.
Hey, yo.
And Matt is back. Welcome back, Matt.
The guest nobody asked for, he's back.
And we got you again. Well, we are going to hit you up on some shitbox rally in the next episode. But you're back in one piece. You're alive. And you now have extra uses for tennis balls.
I certainly do, which we can get into that next week.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I have a newfound love affair for tennis balls.
Yes, well, that's good. We're learning all about their multiple uses as we'll go into next episode. But gentlemen, had a few technical issues last week.
Did we? I don't know what's going on.
What was that?
There was something in the waters.
Gremlins. One of those gremlins running through the circuit.
You know, it was
digital one.
For the gamers out there, it was the launch of the Diablo 3 servers all over again, right?
Yeah.
That was it was you press one button and something opposite happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't work in tech anymore,
No,
so
it's not your
it
fault.
is what it is. It's just going to happen.
The old Matty collector days, the white screen of death. You know, we've all been through it. So we soldiered through. Appreciate all the messages and concerns from the listeners, but we soldiered through.
And congratulations on the big 400.
Yes.
Sorry I missed you guys.
Yeah.
It was a great episode. No one guessed the right reason why I was absent from the episode, but
It's weird, man. I don't know why that's
Shaving your
why that's
beard
happened.
off.
yes, shaving the beard, that was one option. But no, great episode and thoroughly enjoyed it. I was on the chat, so I managed to try and throw
Did
in
you win a
few
prize?
zingers. I didn't win a prize. No, I don't think I tried to win a prize.
I think it was great because Ollie was sort of sitting there and you could just see Scotty just sort of pointing out and Davey said to us after, goes, I think he was like trying to make sure Anita didn't win a prize, like, you know, because there might have been some favoritism going on there. But no, it was great to have Ollie and Declan. You wouldn't have heard him on the audio. He was sitting up the back and just sort of enjoying the show from a distance. So yeah, it was a good night. Big thanks to Davey for jumping in and providing the chaos. And he didn't guess the mystery items thing, which I thought was really good. I was really worried about that because I'm like, not only does Davey know our collections really well, he knows us as people, and he's got a good nose for bullshit.
Yeah,
you know. So when we're like literally looking him in the eye, trying to spin these stories that 3 out of 4 aren't true, I was like, oh, how's this going to go? But we managed to fool the great man.
Yeah, no, he was doing a good job. He would have guessed mine, I think, because it would have been the only one carded.
Yeah.
Would have been a big red flag there.
Yeah.
So that was great. And Teale'o, did you win a prize? Did you get some cases?
I think you did.
I sure did. I didn't get cases.
Oh, no, you didn't get cases?
Yeah, no, Glenn was very nice enough to give me some of the stands. Cause,
lovely.
All the cases that he's got in stock, I don't have any figures for.
Right.
So, he let me get some of those stands. So I'm looking forward to getting those.
Beautiful. That's great.
And Trent, I have to say, thanks for nothing.
What did I do? That's how I won. That's how you won. Yeah, that's right. No, good stuff. Yes, so no, you were probably happy I wasn't there. Wonderful. All right, well, let's jump into a bit of this.
Let's go.
3.
It worked this week.
2. 1.
Cue music.
So what have you got for me?
I'm Batman.
But she's got a new hat.
Now, it's not often that we hit the newsreel with news that's come about from 35 years ago.
Well, that's how excited you are about this topic,
Oh,
Jen.
I am.
This is the entire run sheet,
this
by the
is-
way.
this
This is all we're talking about
insane.
tonight.
This is insane.
Listen
all right,
to it.
guys. So
Listen to the
let me get up on my soapbox and just wax and lyrical for a minute or two. So Battle Beasts, right? Everyone knows I'm such a crazy fan of them and things. And there's the history of the Battle Beasts franchise. There are some what I like to refer to as mega crazy collectors, right?
Yep.
So I might have all the sort of US release and a couple of the laser beasts and things, but there are collectors out there who hunt for variants, and they've got everything, all the cards, all the stuff. It's just phenomenal, right? So when something comes up that the Battle Beasts world collectors haven't seen, it goes crazy, goes viral throughout the pages of the Battle Beast world. So to unpack this, a number of years ago when I sort of jumped into the line, it was quite exciting to see this unproduced box art of what was called the Battle Beast Beast Eaters, right? And it was actually a sort of reptilic beast that sort of a monster that the Battle Beast would stand on and ride and would eat other Battle Beasts. And the box art, had this was the Swamp Smasher, and it was eating a laser beast, and there was another beast on its back.
So it's a vehicle, effectively.
It's a vehicle, a beast vehicle, correct, right? And that was it. We'd never to this day seen an image of the toy itself, only this conceptual box art and what was going to be potentially released, right? So this box art was known to the community. Well, on eBay recently, 12 pictures, right? These are just photographs of the actual items on eBay went up, and it showed not one, but two of these conceptual beast eaters, right? One of them was the depicted in the box art, the Swamp Smasher, and then there was another one which was gray, sort of brownish grey type thing.
A variant.
A variant, yeah, with a different head, right? So that was the only, same body and everything and different head. And it's got this clutch mechanism on the back that obviously manipulates the mouth chomping action. And it's worth noting that I thought it would have eaten it and swallowed it, like the belly would be hollow or something, but it doesn't look like the mouth.
Just goes into the mouth.
Yeah, just sort of hides in the mouth. And so they were the two, oh my gosh, this is history in the making, factor. These are just little Polaroid prints that you could buy on eBay, and all the other prints were just promotional pictures of all the laser beasts and the chariots and other beasts and things like that. Have a guess. It was buying. Sorry, bid on it.
So you're purchasing just pictures,
just
of it, not
photographs,
the item itself.
just Polaroids.
Wow.
Of unreleased beast things. So you got 12 of them in total, plus the envelope that it came in, and a
Do
little
you get
bit
them
of
all, or do you buy one
12,
each?
No. 12 was up for
photos.
sale in the one lot.
And they're original, they're not reprints?
Original
one-offs. Like
one-offs, 100%
Right.
one-offs from this.
$10,000.
No, not quite that much. No. USD, they went for one person bid on it and won it.
Okay.
$2,500.
photo?
USD.
But it's one of a kind.
It is one of a kind, and it's history. Like these beasts have no other history whatsoever except for that box art that came up a number of years ago.
But these are essentially photos of prototypes,
Yeah.
not
Yes.
even a prototype.
Not even the
Photo.
item itself.
You get
These
12
are just
photos.
Polaroid photos. So to $2,500 broken down into Australian dollars, $3,838 Australian. Plus $180 postage if I wanted to get them over here. $2,500. So these are the Polaroids. I'll just show the boys in the room. Yeah, they're just literally Polaroids. You can see the person's hand there, so they're no
holding
bigger
the
than maybe 5 centimeters by 5
It's
centimeters.
like almost film. Like it
Yes.
looks like it's transparent, and then
Yep.
the beast is sort of superimposed on top.
So I reckon these would have gone into the next Toy Fair catalogue or
Yeah.
sold to potential markets like this. This was completely behind no public viewing.
So now the question is, you sit there,
where
and
are they,
exactly?
right? Yeah.
There's these prototypes at the very least were produced they're somewhere. And it begs a question. You go, it's taken 35 odd years for these photos of the item to surface.
I guess it's possible they were destroyed. I mean, that is a possibility.
Yeah.
So they may not be in existence anymore.
Or better yet, whoever made them, once they understood they weren't going to go into production, hopefully they took them home and gave them to their
You'd
kids
hope
to,
so.
to love
They
and
look
play
pretty
with.
complete,
Imagine
right?
that. They're just
Like-
sitting down the bottom
Yeah.
of some kid's toy box, or they're up in the attic because the kids have grown up. Like,
Perfect story,
oh
isn't
my
it?
God. Well, yeah, been worse still. Been the kids cleaning out, and they've sold them at a garage sale for like $10.
Bag of them for $10.
Yep.
Incredible.
Wowzers!
There
What a
you go.
story. That's cool that it's like this unearthed piece of, in an age where we feel like we know everything. There are no secrets. That everything's catalogued or recorded somewhere. For a 35-year-old toy that nobody knew existed to just appear, even if it is only in picture form, that's pretty stunning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's iconic artwork on the box.
Yeah.
Like just the level of love that someone's spent and the energy someone has put into making the artwork. It's toys of the 80s.
Yeah,
That's essentially what it is. It's lovely.
Bringing the toy to life and
Yes.
putting it in a setting that you can only dream of.
It fires your imagination. That's what it does.
Do you reckon? I'm just looking at the box here. So the box here is the Swamp Smasher.
The green one.
The green one, right? And we're looking at the photo of it down there. Now, if you look at the box, the neck is extended. See beyond the green little hump thing on its back.
Oh,
Do you reckon
wow.
the trigger launches the head
Pushes it
forward,
forward.
as well?
That
Because
sounds
it's
pretty
quite
cool.
a big
Yes,
handle.
yes.
Yeah.
Trigger, yeah.
That's a
Sounds
good
like
point.
Hungry Hippos.
It's Hungry Hippos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly right.
We will never know until, might be another 35 years until this item comes up.
And if we're ever doing a quiz where you got to pick a dinosaur or creature, you can add Swamp Smasher.
That's
to the
right.
mix
That's
now.
right. Yeah.
Right up there with the Bionotop.
When we get up to the team,
real
we've
things.
got two beast eaters to choose from. Yeah.
Is that the figure that comes with? Is that a
Usually they
re-release?
usually they pack
just a
in
repaint?
for the play sets and the things. They usually pack in a figure, but that's a regular figure.
Yeah, it's not
the
like a
raccoon.
unique figure that
No,
never got made. No,
That's just a
very
standard
cool.
one. Yep. Yeah.
All right. Well, some very exciting news for G.I. Joe fans. Always the question about what is the next HasLab going to be. And we've got our answer here. It is the G.I. Joe Snow C.A.T, which is, I love this vehicle. I think it's a very, very cool vehicle. And we're getting it in the G.I. Joe classified toy line at the 6-inch scale. Had a bit of a discussion with Colin Betts about this. So as soon as it comes up, Colin hit me up and, what are you thinking? What are the thoughts? And very much, I think there was a bit of a question about price value. Colin was sending me all sorts of analysis of whether we think this is good value or not. But it is very cool. I think it even has a fold out or a expanding kitchenette, as we may get into, which is very cool. Like anything, I think these HasLabs do have various stretch goals which we'll go through. I think Frankie's having a few technical problems loading things up. But let's just have a look. So the Snow C.A.T, if you're not familiar with it, familiar with the Snow C.A.T vehicle, is a snow vehicle. It's a white and black vehicle with sort of like a blue canopy. It's got a really heavy duty tire at the front and then almost like tank treads at the back. It comes with Farley Frostbite Seaward. He's the main... it's Larry Harmer at his finest. There he comes in his sort of snow outfit. Actually, G.I. Joe, I've got a number of like Arctic attired G.I. Joe figures in my retro collection. So they did get quite a few figures built for snow combat. And it has the sort of the pop-up rocket launchers that sort of fit into the back, which is very cool. What are we talking about?
How cool is that?
Oh, look at that. And it goes up. Yeah, it's got a feature where it can kind of like go up.
Roll
Yeah.
back,
Like
sort of rear up.
Rear
like
up on
a
it.
snake
Yeah,
sort of would,
lift up to get across the difficult terrain. At $324.99. This Kickstarter is going to end in 40 days. Let's just have a look at the different tiers. So At 10,000 backers, you get a Lady J in Arctic Deer. There's one for the geek dudes. Lady J. I think you're going to have to get that, Jonesy. Tier 2, the Bivalvic Battle Station at 1,200 backers. And then at 12,000 backers. And at 14,000 backers, you get another action figure, which is Flint in his Arctic gear. So 14,000 is what we obviously want to get. We want to get all the different unlocks in there. Gentlemen, what do we think of this vehicle?
This is just absolutely incredible. The fact that it comes with a kitchenette, that thing, like this is not the only kitchenette and sort of fire side we'll see tonight. I just think this is absolutely incredible, and this is world building. Like when you start talking about food and things like that encompassing into a vehicle or a playset or something like that, it's just insane. Like this Brian Volkveiss jumped on, I saw it, he popped up on my Facebook feed, and he was just championing at the bit that this is toy of the year quality because of all the additional things that you get with it.
So it's also got LED. So apart from like LED lighting with your headlights and tail lights and stuff, the actual console where the driver would sit with all your sort of heads-up display and different gauges, that's actually backlit as well with LEDs in it. That's very, very cool. Wow.
It comes with the regular character comes with a flask of soup or coffee or whatever you want to put in.
Well, it's cold.
Coffee.
Scotch.
Coffee.
Warm you up.
Yeah, insane. So what are we looking at as far as, has it actually opened?
It
yet?
has opened. I think it's chugging along nicely.
Have we got any stats around?
Campaign details.
Click that. Okay, if you click that.
Okay, so we'll run from the 30th of June. So it has only just gone live recently until the 14th of August. So over a month, which is really nice. Where's the actual big bar that tells us how many people have backed this? There we go.
6,353 backers.
So 8,000 to get it made.
Yep.
So they're at 6.3 already.
Yep.
With it's only been up for less than a week at this point.
Yeah.
I think it's looking pretty good.
Oh, it's going to back.
It's going to get to tier 2.
Correct. I think the question is whether it makes it all the way to tier 3. I think that's the only question on the table here. Look, I think it's going to make it to tier 3, but I think it's going to be close. Let's just pop up. Oh, that's in stock, right? Okay, so sorry. Rock and Roll, he's in stock as well. That's some cool stuff. I love this. I think. Oh yeah, there. Look, he's got a little coffee brewer, bacon
Sausages.
and eggs.
Yep.
Sausages.
So this is the tier 3 figure, Flint. I think it's really clever because like vehicles are one thing, but for people to get, and it's a figure they've already released. Flint's been done in classifieds already, but to get a variant on that, I think that's really smart to go, here's the first one to get you tier 1. Tier 2, perhaps not as exciting, but here's another, variant figure. Like G.I. Joe people love those characters.
But I like tier 2. I mean, you say not as exciting. And look, probably if you could pick a figure, you would. But it's like a little tent with a machine gun. It's got a little sort of sleeping bed, a little fireplace, and a few little bits and pieces. I think it's and G.I. Joe was known for its accessories. So not only did it have a huge array of vehicles, it had these little add-on packs as well. So I think that's a really nice little nod to the G.I. Joe history. Look, Lady J's got a coffee cup, alternate heads, little drills that you can drill into the snow. Really great.
Fishing gear and fishing poles, and the tier 2 comes with not one but 2 fish. And then you've got a campfire to cook them on. Just incredible.
It's giving me some serious Thunder Tank vibes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good
I'd
call.
agree with that. Yeah. Very cool. So you and Colin were in discussions. You're on the fence. Are you getting this? Where
I'm getting it. Yeah, I'm getting this, no doubt. Look, I think for me, I'm hoping that EB Games will come through in Australia with this. Look, it's just Colin's great, and Colin will buy and ship and do all of that. It is a very expensive game when you start shipping items of this size. The great thing about the EB Games is you can just get it here in Australia. I think it'll work out roughly about the same. So yeah, I'm very keen. I've got all the Joe classified vehicles to date.
Oh, nice.
So I'll keep the train going on this one if I can. Yeah.
How do you display them?
One of them is the sitting on my floor. out of the box. I did open it up, and the others are still in the box. So yeah, mint in box for the most part.
Mint in box. Look at all
Is
those
the
accessories.
artwork on the box good at least?
It is, yeah. Well, in fact, I did get the helicopter recently, and I was over at Floppy's place, and we cracked it. We cracked the dragonfly.
Oh, yours?
Yeah, cracked it.
Oh,
Look,
wow.
I'm quite happy to open it. I like my concept is a boxed item I can open up, right? Modern boxed I'll open, but I've got nowhere to put it. Right? So once we'd had a bit of a play and looked at it, it just went back in the box and got sort of sealed up. But
Goes on the roof.
well, that's right. I mean, that certainly is an option.
Cool,
bit of
cool
fishing wire.
accessory for the fan.
Yeah, that's right. So, no, very exciting. Very, very exciting.
All right. Next up is Fresh's favourite playset ever. It's, of course, the Horde Fright Zone from MOTU Origins. And this box art has been revealed, and oh my gosh, this is fan service to the hilt, right? And people have analysed every character and every piece of square inch of this artwork on this box. But I've got a few key areas that I wanted to tell, and also there's awesome artwork on each of the side panels that I've added on to us. So first and foremost, we've got the concept of He-Man changing into different characters and things, and that was first seen in the Power and Honor sort of concept art, and he was changing into Buzz-Off, right? Before they made Buzz-Off its own character, they were going down the route of being Barbie or Action Man or something, where he puts on a different costume and be's a different character wearing that costume, right? That's where the military, spaceman and Conan, Tankhead and things. That's where that concept came from. So this is just a sort of spin-off of, well, what if He-Man was an insect?
There is, at the moment in Origins, there is a concept line.
Correct.
So we got the Grizzlaw Hordak 2-pack, most notably, and there's been another one which I've forgotten about. But
I forget too.
I think
I know
this
what you
one
mean.
will fit into that line.
Yep.
Because I think a lot of these will get made.
Oh,
into
they
figures,
100%
right?
they will, yeah. And of course, this took me a little while to work out where the hell in the artwork it is. This Buzz-Off He-Man dress-up character is in the Horde dungeon, so you only sort of get the a little bit taste of what he looks like.
That's very clever.
It is,
because I think in the original Fright Zone box, Buzz-Off is in the jail.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Tribute to the tribute.
Yeah. You've got Modulok, and this was the Top Toys version. So I think India or somewhere produced the
Top Toys is South America. I think.
Okay, yep, I stand corrected. And it came not all red, but it had green arms and green leg accessories, quite, polar opposite colours. And they've advertised that on the side of the box as Modulok having those coloured limbs. So that's quite interesting. Another Power and Honor Foundation artwork of He-Man and Skeletor, and instead of battle armor and things, we've got sort of this dragon or reptilian head popping out of Skeletor's chest, right? And very interesting. And when it's closed, he's got this alternate type body armor things, and he's depicted captured in the tree capture unit, just like the original one.
It's Skeletor, but it looks like a different take on the battle armor stuff.
Yeah. So this is another version
these are really
of his,
deep cuts.
Yeah,
They're
huge.
deep. The only place I've ever seen these images is in that Power and Honor Volume 1.
Yeah.
So it's a super deep cut, right, of prototype concepts.
Yep. Yeah. And then He-Man, to the normal fan, he'd probably just look like a battle armor, but the chest is actually more hexagonal looking, and it's actually the yin to the yang of Skeletor. He's actually folds down, and there's sort of blasters, so pre-Leo Blast type scenario. And he is, of course, fighting the monster, just like the original box art he was depicted in. All right, and then last round of 4 characters. There's
This
heaps
is
more.
four slides just dissecting the box art.
This is
on
just
a
the
toy
box
that hasn't
art.
even come out yet.
People have dissected every single character on that box art. I've just chosen the ones that are really key. We've got Red Beastman, sort of from the mini comics and things. He didn't have the orange and things fur. He was all red, and they've got him being pushed over and things in the artwork. One of my absolute favourites on this artwork is Grizzlor. And it's not just regular Grizzlor.
Yep.
It is dark face Grizzlor, a common variant in the vintage line. And the way they've drawn Grizzlor, it's like, draw me a lion with a huge mane,
he looks
snarling and things, and that's what Grizzlor looks like on this box art. He looks absolutely phenomenal, so I dare say that's a very easy repaint down the track. Triclops, again, previewed in the mini comics. I think he was Jelly Bean Triclops or something. He's got sort of more orange and, he's got the Jelly Bean a belt thing.
He has been made into
I was going to say, we've
very
seen
early
this one,
on.
in Origins.
He won the
already.
fan vote, I
That's
think,
right.
when they were doing them back in the day.
And then he's got his gold-hilted sword with a silver, blade, just like in the mini comics and things. And then is it Orko or something? But he doesn't have the
It's
O
Orko,
on his.
It's a very early
on his-
William George version of Orko. Doesn't have the O depicted on
Correct.
on the
Yeah.
shirt.
So that's quite interesting.
And
as
beady,
well.
sort of like almost Jawa eyes, just lights for eyes, not cartoony.
It's not filmation at all,
No.
in terms of it's taken away those real sort of animated, dare I say, kiddie elements and made him a bit more mysterious, I think that's really cool.
So if nothing else, taking away from this box art, this is a preview of what direction the Origins toy line is going to go
done this,
in.
but they've got form with this, haven't they? Where on the box, and we spoke about Shirella only a matter of weeks ago, where the main thing is the Fright Zone playset, but let's throw in a little reference here,
Why
and then in 6 months' time, you're going to get your Red Beast Man or your Jelly Bean color. Well, Triclops we've already gotten, but any of those other deep cuts, they've done this many times. But do you know what's not on this box art? No goddamn Snake Men, all right? It's all Horde, baby. Suck it.
Because Snake Men are too cool.
Nah, that's very... Is anyone in, Scotty, you in on the actual Fright Zone as far as purchasing it from Mattel Creations?
Well, I'll tell you this. I was tasked with the get up early and
when you
purchase.
say task, you volunteered.
Yeah, well,
You
yes.
kind of said, "Hey guys,
So-
who wants a Fright Zone?"
Stand in the mirror. and
Like,
said,
wasn't that
"Are
we
you gonna
made you
mar-
do it?
Get
I mean,
up or
stand
am
in
I?
the mirror.
I did.
Scotty, rise to the challenge.
And rise I did.
The job of the
No,
It was early, all right? It was cold.
the three of us went in, myself, Trent, and Chris, and it helps save on shipping doing it that way. So we knew a week in advance that the drop was coming, and each day I would log into Mattel Creations and see, yes, we're another day earlier, and then life gets in the way.
Oh, no.
And you stop thinking about it like for a few days, but Monday morning you're like, oh, that's right, something on Facebook, it's coming up.
Yeah.
It's 2 days, right? No problems. Got to set my alarm 2 a.m. Wednesday morning. That's when it's going to go live. Got to get on board and do it. And so, yep, cool. Thursday I check my messages and I'm like, why have Trent and Chris messaged me angrily? I'm like, uh-oh. I'm not going to repeat what I wrote in the message, but let's just say I absolutely forgot to get up in the morning. Now, normally that's not an issue with Mattel
Well, it
Creations.
hasn't been for a while. So historically, you go back to Jelly Bean Triclops.
Yep.
Probably a problem. Cold ass, some of those things. But I reckon in the last year,
We feel like they've increased the numbers, right?
I
Hasn't
would
been
have.
crazy sellouts.
Yeah, and I would have been like, "Dad, Scott, don't even bother getting out. Don't even get up at 2. Just when you rise, you're having your coffee, just place your orders then."
Yeah.
But it wasn't the case this time
no.
round.
No.
Sold
no.
out?
It's like bang, it was sold out very quickly. Within the hour, according to online sort of reports, that guys are obviously jumping on board, getting their 3 limit, and it was gone. Like well and truly gone. I didn't appreciate it was going to be such a hot potato.
I wouldn't have
and
thought so either.
You wouldn't think the larger price items, just at that price, and particularly, even with a limit of 3, that's hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Like, that's
It was
crazy.
fairly cheap, wasn't it? Wasn't it only like $90?
Oh,
Yeah, 160 Australian dollars plus shipping. So that's very, very reasonable
Yeah,
in my
okay.
opinion. It was pretty good.
For a playset, for
Yeah,
sure.
I think it's a good price. Anyway, the silver lining or the good news story is it was available on Big Bad Toy Store. So
okay.
Chris did jump on and place an order. So I
Okay.
think we have
They're
secured.
coming.
Yes.
We have secured.
Yep.
it. Yes.
Excellent.
So thank you, Chris.
That is what we like to hear.
All right, this is cool.
What
it's,
is
we're,
this?
We're still leading up.
no
we're still leading up to the San Diego Comic Con exclusives, and Jurassic Park has been one of those franchises that continually has put a offer out for fans every year, and it's usually the kind of offer that I'd like that, but if I don't get it, then so be it. Like it's not
a good
it's not
use of an exclusive.
Exactly. And this is creme de la creme. I freaking love this, right? This is so we've got the cool part about this is it's got the green Bull Rex that was going to go up with the towers.
Yes.
What do you call it? The door.
Yep.
That
never made it.
That
right?
never
The
made it.
funding,
Right. So
yeah.
this D-Rex is probably the pinnacle, and I dare say it'll get a single release down the track. But this is the first. Sorry, not the D-Rex. The Bull Rex. This is the first opportunity fans have got for the Bull Rex in this green and sort of.
So it's the T-Rex, but coloured in a certain way,
yes,
right?
Yeah, with scratches and things like that. It looks awesome, but you can't just release this. This is San Diego Comic Con. What else do you do? Well, you put someone in those famous blow-up outfits that
inflatable
cosplay.
T-Rex.
Yeah, cosplay outfits, and you have them run around as a character in the T-Rex outfit, including the classic brown. My kids have both got these. They've grown out of them, but they've both got one. And the coolest thing is you can see the person looking out through just under the mouth.
Yep.
They're looking just above the chest type thing, and it's interchangeable. You can have a female faceplate or a male faceplate, which I just think is ingenious. And to top this off, that's not enough. Why don't we have a miniature replica of that inflatable dinosaur holding the box for the
So
actual
better,
San
isn't it?
Diego?
He's holding his box.
Yeah,
It's just Toyception, right?
Toyception.
He's got a San Diego Comic Con 2025 bag that you get
Like a
at the thing. He's got a whole heap of goodies and boxes and things that you can put in the bag, and then the piece de resistance. If that's not enough, the famous "When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth" flag banner that is from 1993's amazing
Floats
film.
down at the end
Floats
sequence.
down.
Yep.
Why don't we do something, when fans ruled the earth? I think this is probably the pinnacle of the coolest offering at San Diego Comic Con this year. That is like, I don't need it, but damn, do I want it. I just think it is absolutely amazing.
Ticks a lot of boxes, doesn't it? It's got that meta thing. It's got a cool big dino at the end of the day, but it really ties into that. As you said, you don't need this to complete a set. It's not a key character in any sort of storyline, but it's just fun.
Yep.
It's just fun.
Yep.
And that's what
Noticed he's holding a miniature version of the set in his hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's great.
How good is that?
And you can keep it mint on card and have everything displayed beautifully as well. I love it. I just think it's so cool.
There's a shot here. In fact, it's packaged like this, but he's got that. If you've ever been to San Diego Comic Con, you get, when you walk in the door, they give these huge bags, right? These huge bags, right? So he's got one of those, right? But the goodies that go in them, he's got like almost, it's sculpted all in red, but there's a whole heap of goodies. But when you tip the bag over, it's like they've spilt out onto the floor. And that's just a genius little move that he's panicking because the T-Rex is coming. Therefore, he's dropped the bag and it's all sort of spilling out. But it's sculpted. It's the one thing. It's just very clever how they put this together. I think you can tell the design team on this had so much fun.
Yep.
they're like, all right, let's do a dinosaur thing. Oh, what if we did one of those inflatable, those T-Rex? You see them in countless videos all over the internet. And then I can just imagine the ideas would have exploded from there. And even the box itself, it's actually the San Diego
it's the convention
center building.
Yes, it is.
But it's like been damaged because there's this giant T-Rex sort of trashing through it and stuff. So, look, it's not for, I'm a big proponent for opening toys, but if I was to get it set like this, that stays in the box because it's beautiful the way it is. Incredible. Hey, look, speaking of beautiful box toys,
I think you got to head this one over to Matt to talk about. Matt, what do you think now that we're seeing some of the images of the box art for this long-awaited Loyal Subjects line? What are you thinking?
Honestly, look, box art's amazing. Toys look amazing. They're just so expensive, like so expensive. But like the box, like it looks exactly like my vintage one.
Yep.
Over there, with the updated artwork and stuff on the back. Obviously, the name's different, but the box art is like chef's kiss. And the this San Diego exclusive, there's been a little bit of, I think, a little bit of negative a bit on the socials about, is it really worth $100 more than the regular one for what you get? Because you basically get the Scott and T-Bob, and then you get a chrome missile launcher, and the missile is grey instead of black, and it has the TV SAT thing on it, which is like the European version. Is that worth $100 over the other one?
Yeah, I think numbers.
To me,
if it's a limited run of this one with the T-Bob, that's where the money's going.
So should say we're talking about the mask line here. We buried the lead there a little bit. We're looking at the images on the screen. But yes, this is the loyal subjects, the mask pre-order. Pre-orders have gone up everywhere, and while most of it had been revealed, the San Diego Comic-Con reveal was there is a version of Rhino that comes with Scott and T-Bob. And with some, as Matt sort of pointed out, some minor sort of paint applications. To your point, Matty, I didn't know about the European colouring on the missile, because that's the first thing that jumped out to me. I was like, Scott and T-Bob, yeah, okay, I get that, sort of core characters in that sense. But I looked at that missile and just went, what is that? Like, to me...
that's my version of Rhino, is
really?
with the TV SAT and the silver. Yep.
What do you mean?
Because back in the day, in Europe, they wanted to make it not so violent. So it wasn't a rocket or a missile; it was a TV satellite that they would shoot off for the communications.
No,
even though it's shaped like a rocket.
Quick, launch the communicator. We're in trouble.
Try and hit miles out of the sky.
What's funny with this one, like it's that San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, but you can go and order that on Big Bad Toy Store right now. You can order it from
Pop Culture.
Pop Culture might also have it.
Is it really an exclusive if you don't have to go to San Diego for it?
San Diego Comic-Con exclusives are not the same as they were 10 years ago. You can, and I think their industry, like the companies are like, why don't we just open it up to the whole public? Why are we only selling 500 units at these things when we could sell 5,000?
Because dollar bills. Yeah, that's why.
That's right.
Wow.
I mean, it seems to have been on all the Facebook groups and stuff. The mask, the 5 that they've released, seem to be selling out all over the place, which is good. But yeah, for me, I'm just like, it's too expensive for what it is. Like, if I didn't have the originals, then yes, it would be, I want a nice box version of this. But I thought, maybe I'll get the Thunderhawk. But it's over $100. Like, it's too much money for what is supposed to be something you should go into your shop and buy. It's a shame because they look great. Like, it looks just like from the box art. Obviously, we've still not seen in-hand toys. It's still been a lot of the renders and the printing. But the price is just shocking.
I honestly think with all the mechanics and all the everything like that, this is not a mass retail, toy line that you're going to go to Kmart and Big W and things like that. So this is the realistic price they have to ask for to make their money back. And that's just, the closest thing we can showcase to this is if Dino Riders was to be re-released. Well, they'll be even more expensive, for the medium-sized dinosaurs and so. So it's a cool idea, gives you a good idea of what sort of pricing that some of these toys that have never had a re-release potentially would cost in today's market.
And
it's a good point though with the Dino Riders. Like, if they released a T-Rex, I would buy it because I don't have it.
Sure.
And I think for me, it's just because I have it. Yes. It's like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
I did like. If I didn't.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like the addition of the chrome. That was one thing that was sort of, I think questions were asked when they first revealed sort of prototypes and stuff. And those things in particular, Rhino, with the smokestacks and the grill at the front, and there's a little bit on Thunderhawk and stuff as well. That is all chrome. So the chrome, I guess for me, you talk about the price difference with the Comic-Con exclusive. If that Rhino, the special one with Scott and T-Bob, was the only one with chrome, then you can go, that's tipping, that's an additional bang for buck sort of thing. But your regular release comes with chrome.
Yeah.
On the grill, on the smokestacks, on the the back of the little ATV.
It's only the rocket.
Yeah,
It's only that rocket.
It's only the rocket that's really different. Like, so for me, the value isn't with the Comic-Con exclusive. Look, I'd be very surprised if Scott and T-Bob don't get a release later on down the line as
You
a
think
a
they'd
little
have to.
2-pack. Like,
Yep.
that's money for jam for loyal subjects. But yeah, look, I hear you, Matt. They are a little exy, and this is coming from someone who had the toys and no longer does. You literally still have the boxed one, so I can understand why it's not ticking your boxes. Trent, where you sit with this? You're a bit like Matt. You've got original toys. Do you have boxed?
Yeah,
items
I've got
of
this
first
line.
wave?
I've pretty much got this whole line boxed. But I love them.
Yeah, you're in.
I went for the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. I realized it was not good value. But I wanted to jump on it because I thought that was the one that was going to sell out quickest.
Yep.
Maybe based on numbers. I'm not sure. I haven't looked. I jumped on this one and I jumped on Thunderhawk straight away. Haven't got Switchblade, haven't got Condor, but probably will try to round those out when I've got funds. I love the upgrades. I think there's enough upgrades here for me in terms of the figures and maybe just some of those enhancers. But I do take Matt's point. Like the value... Look, I was expecting the value proposition to be what it was because it's probably a low run and it's got a lot of parts, spring-loaded mechanisms and the like. But on the San Diego Comic-Con, the extra 100 for essentially Scott and T-Bob, which should be like $10 worth of figures, maybe 20. That bit makes you just feel a little bit, but anyway.
You've come this far and you're
I'm
in.
a sucker.
And you've got so much space to put it all.
That's
as well.
right. You just watch me stuff that somewhere in a cupboard.
You've got a whole toy aisle, mate.
That's right. It's already full.
It's already
Frank.
full.
It's already
Yeah.
full.
It was full on day one, wasn't it?
All right, more San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. We have Masters of the Universe Cross Turtles of Grayskull. Drum roll, we have Skelly Shredder.
Did
all
they
right?
just reach into your
Oh,
brain
mate,
and went, what are the two things that Ben loves? Let's mash them into one figure.
They've been
'Cause, oh my
cooking-
God.
They've been cooking this figure for a while, I reckon. So letting it brew and come to the boil. This launches on Mattel Creations 24th of July. Scott, hope you're typing that
Scott's
into
on
your
his phone right
now.
now trying to
Yeah.
pre-order.
Yeah.
I'm learning coding so I can hack the site and order it for you now.
Please do, man. Please do. I'll give you $50 for it. Then. 45 USD or $78 Australian, right?
Bit stingy on what you're going to pay Scott for it. $50.
$50
That's
USD.
a spotter's fee, right?
That's
That's
it,
so we
yeah.
can get up at 3 a.m. to
Oh,
order
USD.
it.
Okay. Yeah, you're okay.
So this is obviously Skeletor mashed with Shredder, and he comes with a throne, a bone throne, which is just incredible. The packaging is that slipcase, very similar to Super 7 and things, and you can sort of slip it out from the top, much like King Grayskull, the original Matty Collector one, where you can stack the top of it on to make it double the height once you've pulled off the top sleeve, and it sort of creates the face of Skelly Shredder. And this Skelly Shredder figure comes with 3 different face plates, one more Skeletor-esque, two sort of foot soldier metal armor things, I don't know. And then this weird gold one that can sit on top of the throne or he can wear.
To me, that's Hordak nod, right?
Probably,
Like,
yeah.
That's what it feels. So you've got your Skeletor nod, you've got your very ninja-esque sort of Shredder look, and I don't like the color scheme, but I feel like that's meant to be a Hordak.
Could be.
nod.
Yep. The Bone Throne comes with a Foot Clan flag and a Havoc Staff flag, which is really cool. He comes with huge claws and things that are detachable, and a big staff that it's sort of got a bull's head or ram's head type thing on it. Very, very cool. You can, once you've taken it out of the box, you can put the throne and things back into the box, and the box can sort of display. To have it as a display piece. So it's his sort of throne room. It's really cool. It's a must-have for me. I just don't know where I'm going to put it. It's going to go in a cupboard somewhere, I think. So
that's going to sit in the middle of the table in
probably
your toy room
for a while.
and just for display purposes, because this is unreal.
Yeah. So this
The question
is,
is though, what face you putting on it?
well, I like the more traditional metal grey face. I have to see him in person, I reckon, before I make my final choice. But the fact that we've got, no, it's a bit too much.
You have to have a Skeletor and a Shredder.
Yeah, well, it is
Shredder, Shreddy Skelly.
It is my pinnacle dream. But yeah, this is now the third version of Shredder in the Grayskull line.
It is. To me, this is the best one, right?
Oh, for sure.
The Snake Shredder thing was cool, and again, that kind of speaks to you on another level, specifically Ben. But and the first one was a good. But this, I think, when this crossover line sort of first came to us, with some things were a bit underwhelming. We're like, okay, why has Mikey got the He-Man hair? Like, but this is, when you think of mashing up two iconic villains, this is really up there. I think they've refined it, as you said. Took them a couple of goes to really get it right, but
they've put a bit of thought into what they've done here.
Yep, absolutely. Trent, you in on this?
Well, is Scotty getting some in his cart? I don't know how many you can get. How many can you get, Scott?
3.
3?
3?
Got room?
You want one?
Yeah, I'll take one.
Okay.
Legend.
I guess I'm ordering one for myself as well.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Very, very
I love that throne. That actually looks pretty
does
cool.
look
Even
cool.
if you don't use it for Skelly Shredder here, just to put it into your Origins collection, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Still on He-Man, we are looking at going over to our friends at Mondo, and they have unveiled another in their 1/6 scale He-Man figures, Man-E Faces, in all his blue and purple glory. Multiple heads, of course.
Galactus.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout with that kind of color scheme. But multiple heads, of course, on a guy like Man-E Faces. So really iconic looking weapons for those who know their masters. That rifle, the mace, his blaster, all the alternate hands you could possibly ever use. Somebody talk to me about this little sidekick character, because what the hell is that?
It's from the Filmation. I thought I had his name here, but I don't, so apologies.
I gotta say, like, it looks well done. I'm sure there's probably basic articulation on it, but it looks a little bit out of place. You've got this wonderfully, I guess, realistic as someone like Man-E Faces could look, but you know what I mean? He seems really... the Mondo stuff is really, it's not meant to look like Filmation. It's not meant to look like the toy. They've taken this thing and made it look as real that it could walk off the page or off the screen into reality. And then you've got this little thing that looks like a Dungeons and Dragons sort of outcast that's very Filmation. He's got the oversized head, skinny little limbs, ridiculously sized feet. I don't know.
It's too cartoonish.
Correct.
It doesn't slot in, does it?
Yeah, it seems to break the aesthetic.
It's like a 60s cartoon, like a Rankin Bass sort of
sort
of character.
It'd fit more in Dungeons and Dragons than it does in Masters.
Yeah. But look, the figure himself, he's amazing. I guess my reaction when I first saw this is I just went, look, it looks great. We know Mondo did great work, especially at this 1/6 scale. He struck me as an odd choice when you look at, like, I don't know that Mondo have Mondo done the entire, like, original 10-back or 8-back in Masters? Have they rounded out those real core characters at this scale?
No.
So it makes me then go, why Man-E Faces?
We haven't got Zodak, have you?
No.
So look. I don't know what the selection
I think he translates amazingly. I think he looks so cool. And I found his name. It's Wiki the Viking.
Wiki the Viking.
Okay, yeah, so
sure.
There you go. But I think this is just downright incredible.
I don't know. Maybe for me, like, he's look. To be fair, he's a toy that I've had since childhood. So maybe I'm a little bit like, it's Man-E Faces. You know, he just doesn't. I think if I'm listing my top 10 Masters characters, he's not in it, in my opinion. Like, in terms of just, I would love to have an insane representation of this character at this scale and this price point, let's be honest. Man-E Faces isn't in that top 10 for me. Amazing work by Mondo, as always. It's just an interesting character choice, I thought.
I think it'd stand out amazing on anyone's shelf. Just the colour palette on its own.
Yeah.
It'll be a figure that draws your eyes to him straight away. And I think that's part of what they're looking for here as well, that it's not just copycat He-Man, Skeletor and the cronies, that we're going to go a little bit deeper here and we're going to do some out there deep cut figures to get people excited.
And also, this you got to have some lesser known characters to fill out your shelf before you get to all your main A grade characters.
Sure.
Otherwise, you burn through the line too fast.
Yep.
And then you've got no steam left for the rest of the line. So, I think he's very warranted.
Fair enough. Whoops, daisy.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my God.
Mythic Legions. Anyone want to do some pronunciation tests?
Come on, Ben. Come on, Ben.
Horror of Einsamall.
That's good.
Is that about right?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Well done.
With that sort of pronunciation, you should be a fantasy writer.
Well, yes, yeah. All right. No, I didn't go anything that fancy in my story. There's some new reveals, some very exciting reveals from the Four Horsemen in their Mythic Legions line, and we have an all-in deal. So just to touch on, obviously, Four Horsemen release waves of Mythic Legions, and generally when they do it, you can opt in for the all-in price. This is fantastic. All-in price, just $375, which is more than 30% off the normal retail price if you were to get all of these. It runs up until Sunday, August 3 on storehorseman.com. You can get figures like Halvard the Frothvar. He's a brave Viking-like warrior from the noble Bear House. He looks like sort of a regular
He's a regular scale.
size
Yep,
Viking.
yes, regular. Yep.
Kind of beard. He's got his Viking shield, axe, horn, and like an alternate kind of helmed mask with a chainmail, kind of like mask almost dropping off from the nose. Then we've got Garmir, the Horror of Einsamall. He's an ogre scale figure. So the ogre scale figure, not as big as the giant. It's sort of that neck size up.
Like 10-inch sort of
about
figure?
that 10-inch. Yep. He's a grey wolf, and
he's a werewolf.
God, he's so cool. Green eyes, alternate head with the snarling head. Comes with look at him. Look, he's just got massive claws. And a massive sort of like obsidian blade, which is very cool. Moving on, I like this one, Commander Igraine, the loyal knight leading our heroes. It's so cool. Blonde haired, comes with a helmeted head with the shield plate that goes up and down, sword, that big double edged hammer, and a really cool accessory which I don't think I've seen before, which is like a lantern, like a fire torch. Yep.
It was very, very paladin, sort of big pauldrons. You've got the big hammer going. Would not look out of place in a Diablo type sort of setting.
Very, very cool, sort of golden white with hints of blue and brown leather. Now, this is very exciting. We've got Burris Biggest Story, and he's the first ever gnome that we're getting at a new scale, which is called the Imp scale. So this is probably smaller than a dwarf. So it's sort of imp scale, and he comes with, it's like he's almost like a gnome with the sort of gnomish red hat and
like
white
a garden
beard.
gnome.
Garden gnome, yeah. But he comes with a bloody keg of beer, right? Like a keg with a tap at the front.
Keg is half his height. It's scaled. It's a scaled keg. You know? We were just talking about, food accessories with your G.I. Joes, and now you go, well, let's go down the pub with the boys from the Four Horsemen.
And he comes with like an alternate head, which is almost, if you know that line, Plunderlings.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got like a Plunderling tribute head,
Alternate
which is a
head.
blue kind of pointy-eared, sort of goblin-y type head. Now, this is the cutest figure I think the Horsemen have done today. Again, in imp scale, we've got Bylar Frostfur. He's a little critter attacker. And Ben, as you were saying, he comes with a fireplace. And with a little fry pan and various different things. He's so cute. He's sort of like a snow fox. And he comes again with an alternate head. And the final one, Jakul Ironbones, the dangerous tundra orc hunter of the far north. And he's a blue ice troll or orc there with some sort of bone armor and the craziest horns you'll ever see. Very, very cool wave. That's the wave, isn't it?
No, there's
that's
more.
Oh, there's more.
But
Is there
wait,
more?
there's more.
Oh my God! Look at
What the? Steve Schultz! You're going to be in trouble, my friend, with a polar bear. It's a freaking polar bear. I haven't seen this.
what's the polar bear? What's the polar bear's name?
Isbjorn.
Yeah.
Isbjorn.
The massive polar bear. Who would have?
What is it?
Well,
Isbjorn.
they've given us some crazy beasts, right? We've had like flaming horses.
Yeah.
We've had a bloody moose for crying out loud. We've obviously had horses and the like. Now we've got a polar bear. Jen, you're going to have to buy Steve another polar bear.
Another polar. And again, we're looking at talking about food and this comes with like another barrel of meat. It's got like 4 steins there for you to eat. There's
More sausages.
yes, sausages and grapes on a plate. There's apple. You get full kitchenette basically. Like this is insane. Who would have thought we'd have such a food centric episode? This is wonderful. And we've got a really nice shot here that gives you a sense of the scale. So for sort of context, these imps, probably only just come up to the chest of the polar bear. So whereas your more traditional sort of 6-inch characters are in scale with that polar bear, and the big ogre wolf character stands easily head and shoulders above everybody else. Like, oh man,
What a great wave. John Caulfield, you're going to have some more figures coming your way, I can imagine.
They've already got an episode out detailing everything about this. So give Euro Legions a listen because they've got this episode already in the pipeline. So if you want to know more and the correct pronunciation, I reckon.
I reckon
very
that
well.
was.
You did
I'm probably
really
like
well.
80%.
Yeah. You did really well. Way better than I could. But give them a listen.
I really think it's really cool that when they've started expanding, because they've done like Cosmic Legions, and what was the other one? Galaxy Legions. There was one that was like Cosmic
Legions.
There's Cosmic Legions, and then there was another one where they've spun out into like
fan, like other creations.
Yeah,
They're
it was
doing
a homage
line,
to other creations. It'd be so easy to just sort of let the original line that sort of kick-started all this just sort of not wither on the vine, but just sort of keep producing the same. They've just, let's invent a new scale.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they just keep on keeping on and
definitive world building at its finest.
I really want that. Just go back that slide. I really want that little white fox guy.
Yeah, so cute.
So cute. And then you go, and then I want the paladin, and then I might as well just get them all.
Just get them all. Yeah.
Save 30%.
Slippery slope.
All right. That's
Lego
all
Masters.
the news.
Let's talk all things Lego Masters now that we've got Trent in the room. So this is, of course, the Harry Potter build that you guys did. So tell us about that.
Well, yeah, okay. So episode 10, the penultimate episode of Lego Masters Grandmaster of the Galaxy was a Harry Potter build. Now, they've been moving towards this episode for 7 seasons, right? Now, ever since, I think it was in fact build 1 or 2 of season 1, David and G built a church. And they got this tiny little camera. Matt, you'll be familiar with this technology, oscilloscope or something. But basically, it's a tiny little camera, and they can project it forward, and it moves on like extends through track. Yep. But it sort of, they can run it through the building, right? So they got this shot of the church, and they put this camera through, and everyone was like, "Wow, that's a fantastic camera shot." So for all this time, they've been thinking, how can we use that camera as the basis of a build? And so the concept for this Harry Potter build was you're given kind of like a template, which was a hallway opening up into a room, and they wanted to do a reveal, right? So they were going to use this little camera tracking along to kind of move the viewer through the build, and then have this reveal. So that's what we had to do. So we got a minifig pool. So it was sorting hat, right? Alex went up. She got the sorting hat, which was like this thing weighed a ton.
Yeah, I
right?
can imagine.
It was all Lego. It was all motorized, right? So it actually, picked your house. And we ended up with Ravenclaw. Now, Ravenclaw are sort of known for their book smarts and their high academic achievement. So I just go, Alex, you just tell me what to do. And she's like, okay, we'll build a
So she's a big Harry Potter fan
She's
as well?
massive.
Nice.
I mean,
Excellent.
if I've got Harry Potter bed sheets, she's living in Hogwarts Castle, right? Like she's a massive fan.
She's riding to the playset with the on the brooms.
Yeah. No,
Fantastic.
that's so she's like, okay, let's build the hallway, which is like a library. We had to build a door, and she's like, and I think I was like, well, make the door a hidden bookcase. Like, what a great door.
Yep.
And like, you're gonna see, because you want to build the tension, so you're gonna see that like things are out of kilter. Like, there's glass shattered on the floor. There's books on the ground. All the things are skew if there's
something's been
flying.
tearing through.
Something's happened. What's happened? And then the reveal is this big troll, big green, ugly, fat troll is there, and he's got like a kid, and he's looking for a snack, right? So that was sort of the reveal. So yeah, we love this build. It was you don't get it that often in Lego Masters, where you just come up with the idea and you just execute seamlessly, and you don't have a problem, right? Yep. That was this build. We just did it the whole way through. It all worked. It all came together. We got there in the end, and I love this build. I thought it was a really clean, polished, good-looking build, and I think we were really up with a chance of winning. I think we got pipped in the end. We came sort of second, if you call it that, by a team that put in some really cool motorized functions and had some really amazing doors. They had this sort of like telescopic door that opened up, and the skeleton that rose, and magic effects. So that was a really worthy winner. But yeah, really happy this build got us into the grand finale.
Yes, it did. Speaking of the finale, we've got a picture here of the three builds. So there was obviously yourself and Alex. There was Henry and Cade, the original winners from all the way back in season 1. And speaking of pronunciation of names, who were the two?
Vidar and Albin.
Yep,
from Sweden. Team Sweden. So yeah, just to go through there. So Team Sweden ended up placing third. They had the idea of like a boy and his imagination. So it's a really cool concept. It's like an 8-year-old, 10-year-old sort of boy fighting. All his toys have come together, almost like Voltron style, to form a kind of monster. And there's also, like, if you zoom in on that, there's He-Man is in there. They've got like He-Man, they've got an Etch-a-Sketch, they've got all these other little toys. They've got blocks and like a little elephant. Yeah, all these great little toys which they sort of added towards the end of the build. But like, if you look at the toy monster, he's made up of he's got a fire truck for an arm, and there's a dinosaur as part of. He's got like a super soaker as his other arm. It's a really cool idea. Unfortunately, building a human
at that scale,
because
it was effectively life
size in 28 hours. Like, Brickman will build that with the help of a computer, and he'll probably have a team of 10 people doing it over hundreds of hours. It's just such a hard shape to pull off. I think they've done a great job. Like, it looks great. It just it doesn't have that realism to it. So that was sort of the unfortunate, but a really cool idea, and they pretty much executed sort of with the exception of maybe that human proportions. And then Henry and Cade, they built. I mean, it's an incredible build. It's essentially Athena riding on a Pegasus, fighting a 3-headed Hydra with the help of 3 Spartan warriors that have been sort of shipwrecked on a beach there. Beautifully done. I mean, there's some incredible techniques. Henry built the characters. He is amazing at this stuff. Like, he is
those are action
They're
figures
action
done with
figures.
Lego in terms of the posability. Like, the minifigs are great, but you really struggle to get a lot of posability and sort of like dynamic shots with them because they've got fairly basic articulation. These things are, Marvel Legends sort of scale, probably bigger than that. And they've got elbow, knee joints, and so because of that, you can put them in some really dynamic poses. One of them is literally being bashed back by the snake, the other one's about to throw the spear. Like, the composition of that I really liked, and Athena up on the horse up top, like it's you can see that in old timey artwork sort of as a painting. And they've recreated that in Lego. It's pretty stunning.
It's very impressive. I love that build. Like you say, because of the sort of almost action figure nature of this and how they're posed. I think it's fantastic. And then Alex and I built Dogzilla, which was a sort of a almost life-size puppy, fairly cartoon style. And And he's come into almost like a Lego minifigure city because he just wants to play. Yep. And you'll be familiar with this, Frank, with Magic. He's so happy. Yep. He just wants to play. He doesn't know his own size. Yep. And he's destroyed these buildings as he's come through. And he wants to play with Cranky Cat. Cranky Cat was like a last-minute addition because Brickman wanted to see that sort of adversarial nature to the build. We were just originally going to have the dog coming through. But this is what Alex really excelled at. She built all these amazing buildings and put in all these beautiful little stories. You can see there's someone like he's done a wee and there's someone that's floating in the wee and he's sunk down. There's a car tipped over and it's like the guy's come back to his car and he's like, "What? Why is it on fire?" There's a guy in a building that's in the bath and he's like, the wall's been knocked out. All these little stories going on. We had a dog catcher vehicle there and they've got out and they kind of realised they're out of their depth. Look at the size
of this dog. Uh-oh.
Yeah, lots of great little stories. We had an unfortunate sort of I'm looking at this image now, and it's not a great angle for the cat. His legs, we got sort of critiqued on them looking very much like pillars, which on this angle they did. We tried to change it last minute, but ran out of time. So we sort of got a bit of a miss on the cat's legs, but I think everything else worked quite nicely.
I think, again, I mentioned the word composition before. The way the dog is sort of positioned, like, I'm ready to go. He's already caused a trail of destruction behind him. And just the eyes, like the two characters, the two key characters, the cat and the dog, they're looking at each other and the cat's up, it's got its back arch. It's like, "Oh, I'm about to run away from you." And the dog's like, "Oh, what's that? You want to play? Let's play." He's got the tongue out, the ears are up, the tail is wagging. Like, I just think it sets a scene. There's a little hint of destruction there and you've got all those little stories in there. But, you go, I want to see what the next 10 seconds entails in that story. You want to, see the chaos and all that sort of stuff. It's just beautifully put together. And you've got really colourful buildings to sort of pop against the muted colour of the dog and the bright orange of the cat. And then the taller skyscrapers are just, sort of grey. It gives it depth because you've got the colour at the front and the grey at the back. Like, it's just, we're all a little bit biased here, but I think that the general consensus was just like, that was the best build.
That was viewer's choice for the
viewer's
win.
choice,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep. So
look, have you seen they've made a set that looks like your dog now as well? With that same pose,
actually, I was. Yeah, it's funny you say that. I was at the airport flying out to Sydney to do the final episode. This is up to 6 months after it's filmed and wrapped. And I look in the Lego store window and there is a dog puppy, more of a puppy from 101 Dalmatians. Yes. And you can put him in that exact pose. And look, that set obviously wasn't out when we did this. Alex came up with the idea for the pose. Obviously at this scale, this is like 5 times as big as that set. It's a very different sort of build and it's quite a different dog. But it is funny. It happens quite a bit. You'll build something on Lego Masters and then all of a sudden they'll make it into a set and it will look like
the Lego designers go, "Oh, it's not a bad shout, that."
Yeah.
Like.
But they would have been working on that dog for years in any event. So we ended up placing second. So we got the second place, as you said, Ben. Got the viewer's choice, and look, we were stoked. I mean, tough to miss out by that much because I think it was a really close call. Credit to Henry and Kate because I loved their build. I thought it was fantastic. But if you'd been dead last third, you could kind of just go, oh well, we tried something, didn't work, done. But to be at Brick, I was at Brixpo today, and I would have talked to probably 100 different families came up, and we got photos and autographs and that sort of thing. And every one of them was like, "Oh, we loved your build, like deserving winning build." And it's just it would have been super super close, taking nothing away from Henry and Cade's amazing build. Oh, tight outcome.
Is this your the end of your Lego journey? Do you think? I mean, you never say never, but like, does this feel like? I know you had your season 2 originally. You've sort of had a couple of little other appearances in season, some not as successful, but this feels, I don't want to say it's the last one, but if this was to be the last one, are you content?
Oh, look, very happy to go. Yeah, look, very happy to go out on this. Yeah, we don't know what the future is for the show. It's always great to be invited back. I feel like now I'm part of the show, whereas before it's sort of like, I've appeared on the show.
I did that thing.
I've
yeah.
been on a thing and moved on and it went to its next thing. But if the opportunity came up, I'd have to think about it. I just don't know. Are they going to reboot it? Are they going to, can it? What's going to happen with it? No idea. But it's always a privilege to be a part of, and you've got to, if you get asked, you've got to think about it, right?
Yep. Yeah, very
Can
cool.
I ask a question?
Yeah.
How do you go with taking all the time off? Because it's obviously a big chunk of time.
Yeah,
how do you go with that with your job?
I've been lucky, Matt, to date to have people to have bosses that are very supportive. It's a weird one as well because you don't know how long you're necessarily going to be gone for. So it's sort of a bit of a weird leave discussion because you're like, hey guys, I might be gone for 2 months. I might be gone for 2 weeks. And that's a bit hard to plan for. I made a call this time. So I've done it in the past with leave where I've gone, we'll manage the leave on a kind of week-by-week basis. So, if, a maximum I'm going to be gone 12 weeks or whatever the filming schedule is. And if I get eliminated, I might need to come back sort of early. This season, I just decided to take the chunk off that I needed to commit to the show. And my plan was, well, if I get eliminated early, I'll just spend some time at home, do some writing, maybe go on the holiday with the kids or whatever. I didn't need it because I made it to the end. But look, I'm lucky in my role at work that backfill opportunities are quite easy and people want to do them. And so if I've got enough planning, it's generally supportive. But it is a sticking point, and a lot of people couldn't do the show because of work commitments. Yeah.
We did have one question, one of your other builds that I think we spoke to when you were unavailable. It was a heist one where there was a piano being stolen from a music producer's studio. There was a bit of feedback provided on the Toy Power Discord about the nature of these three criminals and whether they're representative of I don't know,
a bit of homesickness maybe.
Yeah, three people on a certain podcast that might bear some sort of striking resemblance.
So there's definitely definitely some resemblance going on here. Sorry, Scotty, for picking on the bald head and the 5 o'clock shadow.
No, that's fine. What I'm noticing is you've actually gotten the 5 o'clock shadow in there as well. That's brilliant.
No, it is a mild homage where you can. You can only play around so much with the faces. But there you go.
Deliberate or subconscious?
This is what I think of you guys. That's right.
We're three thieves still
bumbling your way through the crime. And this build was a lot of fun, and our hapless jazz singer there at the front as well, who'd been smoking a bit too much of that plant-like matter in the background there for the keen-eye observers.
I've got to say, it's a hell of an honour to be immortalised in Lego. Thank you to you and Alex. It's amazing. Thank you.
Anytime.
You do have to settle one of the questions though that the guys had last episode. Obviously, Scott on the right. There was 2 guys that were both claimed to be the spiky head.
Yeah, well,
the other 2.
Well, that's you can see the Frank Spanish look in
the eyebrows, isn't it?
It's the eyebrows,
yeah. Or eyebrow, pure plural.
I'm quite happy to have a full head of hair. Then. I'll take it while it lasts. I don't know how much longer I've got with it, so thank you. Yeah,
wonderful.
Very good.
All right, Benno.
All right, Independence Day, a part of the Radical Rewind, thing that they
Cinema
do.
Club?
Yeah, Cinema Club. Independence Day was last night, and what a fantastic film to see on the big screen. All those huge explosions and things. Will Smith, arguably at his peak, like he was actually likable.
Non-slapping face.
Well, don't say his wife's name.
He punches
around
an
him.
alien in the face.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's an alien, yeah. Get that name out of your mouth.
That's it. If you're ever worried about trying to find Independence Day on VHS, don't worry. They're all at the Radical Rewind showcase. I don't know how many they had. That was just hilarious. There's not that much merch and toys and things. So Steve did an incredible job with what he did. And the part of the display was all the VHSs and just all the movie reiterations. A few people had boxed versions of the aliens, including Brett and things, which is fantastic. They were from Trendmasters. I had to pick up the box and look at it because I genuinely didn't know who produced the toys. And they famously came with a blue 3.5-inch floppy disk. So the future is now, you know, back in 1996 or whatever.
It's the only way to upload a virus to alien infrastructure.
100%. But so what does Steve do? He brings his cardboard cutouts and a few posters and things. But what I loved, right, Steve, you know, put it on his thinking cap. How can I fill out a museum-like display that's going to have people standing there and capture their attention? Well, why don't we get an Earth Invasion sign-up booth, right? And all the aliens from TV and cinema lining up in a nice, you know,
orderly
single file line. And it was a bit of a who's who of the alien, invasion world. So just throwing some names out there. So you've got everything from now I'm blanking. Mars Attacks and Monk.
Daleks.
What's this called?
You got Mork from Ork.
Mork from Ork.
Yeah. The District 9 aliens. You've got V, which is the tall red one.
You've
got Cylons. You've got Stitch, some Star Trek characters. You name it, it's there. It was just fantastic.
What a great idea, right?
It was, because it had me standing there going through the line trying to work out who's and everything. You even had Battlefield Earth represented there, which is probably the first and last time this year Battlefield Earth will come up in a podcast. But it was just, you know, chef's kiss. Like I love.
That's brilliant.
I love the what Radical Rewind do, and Steve just has the most brilliant imagination to put that sort of spread on, and it just captures your imagination like none other.
Beautiful.
So, well done.
All right.
And then next up.
Oh, Frank, you're in.
Yes.
I think I want to see you and Ali dressing up for this one.
It's look, the dress up is one thing. It's the walk.
Right.
It's the tucking the hair behind the ears. It's okay, cool, party. Like,
excellent.
So they had a sizzle reel of trailers and things, and they flipped up Gremlins 2. Ooh. And I knew it was only like second in or something. I knew it wasn't going to be the one for next month, but afterwards I made sure, I went out of my way and said to Brett and Dave, mate, make sure Gremlins 2 is on the run,
on the
because
list.
I'd love to see that on the big screen. Anyway, what the winner of the trailers was, of course, Wayne's World. And that's going to be amazing with Garth and Wayne himself. So, so this is going to be awesome. 8th to the 8th, so 8th of August at the Odeon Star, the same place as always. See you there.
We've already got our tickets. We're in.
Nice. Beautiful.
Gonna be.
I think this is going to be a packed out cinema because my whole family's going to come, and so I think this is going to be one for all ages and an overall great night.
Well, this is one, and Gremlins 2 I've seen at the cinema as well as Wayne's World. I saw it at the Victor Harbour Cinema of all places, both of those films. So there you go. Wow.
Very, very cool. All right. Now, Master Trent, apart from being on TV and now signing autographs and all that sort of stuff, we last spoke about this particular thing, how many years ago?
It could be 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It could be a long time.
Yeah.
This has been a long time in the making.
That's right. So Master Trent is, amongst all other things, you know, he's Hollywood Trent, as we know. He's now, I guess we can call him Author Trent, because your book, The Dark Epoch, has been published.
I've got. Look at this.
He's got a physical copy of a book with Trent's name on the cover there.
Yep.
You know, for those who don't want to go back, you know, like 200 odd episodes to when we last spoke about this, give us the rundown. What's this book all about?
Yeah, look, it has been. This is 8 years in the making, right? So I started writing this 18, 19, somewhere around there, and I got it done. I got it finished. In fact, there's there's an article around the time of Lego Masters Season 2 that came out, and it was like At Home with Trent, right? So an interview, and it had all these questions, and it did the toy room tour, and there was one thing on there, like, what are you doing now? And I went back and looked at it yesterday, and my response is, I've just finished writing book 1 of a trilogy. Just finished. This is 2000, right? Just finished book 1 of my trilogy. And so 5 years later, this is the trilogy. There's 3 books in here.
Oh, okay.
I finished the other 2 and finished that book 1. But one of the I think he's a Lego fan. He's on Instagram. He's made Lego Masters trading cards. Justin Shembry. He reached out to me and said, where can I get a copy of your book? You know, based on this article. And I said, I still haven't finished it. So that got me into gear, and I managed to wrap it up. Just last week, got published on Wednesday, and I got that copy of the book I think on Friday, which is yesterday. So yeah, look, it's a dark fantasy series. It's probably what you'd call a sort of a dying world fantasy. It's very hard to explain, but it's probably, if anyone's read Gene Wolfe, which a lot of people haven't, he's a very well known science fiction author. And he wrote a book called The Book of the New Sun. It's absolutely brilliant. It's my favourite fantasy series. So it's very much inspired by sort of a Gene Wolfe dark fantasy style. We essentially have the religious order of the earth, right, of the human world, that are a little bit like Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? When the Avatar dies, they're reborn. And they find the new avatar, and they cycle through Earth, bending, fire bending. So they've got to go out and find the new avatar.
Yep.
So in this story, it's similar. You've got the Light Seeker, who, when they die, the religious order of the world goes out to find the new one and bring them to essentially be trained up and sit on one of the thrones of the triarchy, and that's how they, bring balance to the world. And in this particular iteration, they can't find him or her anywhere.
Yep.
They've scoured the world many, many times, and they can't find them. And all of a sudden, they start to think, what is at play? What's happened? What's the reason for this? And that sort of unravels the thread of the story. It's very much written like sort of, if you've read any of the George R.R. Martin Game of Thrones, you're thrust into multiple different characters.
That explains why it took so long to write.
Well, I'm not. Yeah, that's right.
Wait, you finished it. It was a bit different.
You're in front, mate. 1-0 to you.
It very much you get lots of different character perspectives, and then they sort of will all culminate and shape together various things. But I did want to just one sort of shout out. I've written a couple of blog posts just to kind of get all this stuff out of my head. And one of the things I wrote about was sort of the inspiration, or what was the genesis of this story, and where do a lot of the ideas come from. And you'll notice here up on the screen, the main character there, Genevieve, of the Cassin High. So she's like a blue-skinned elven character. They all have white hair, this particular race. And everyone sort of looks at this and goes, what's your inspiration? It's something like Avatar. Yeah. And it's not. It's actually He-Man, the Master of the Universe, and the race of Gar, right? Cyclone in 2000X and Keldor, they come from a race of Gar. And that is the inspiration for the blue skin. So it's not Avatar, it's He-Man. There is... I love time travel, right? I love Back to the Future. I absolutely love the Terry Gilliam film 12 Monkeys with Bruce Willis. One of my favorite time travel stories, because Bruce Willis is basically put in a mental institution because he's a time traveler and he can't grasp what's going on. And so my story is built around a time travel sort of scenario, and it's very much a flawed system where the characters really don't know how it works or really don't know what's going on. And so there's inspiration from sort of all these ideas and concepts that I've loved, but I've also tried to merge in, brand new concepts and try to create things that go beyond the tropes that we sort of understand. And that is a challenge when you're writing, because you invariably sort of lead into one trope or another. But it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it. I'm just glad it's done and I could kind of get it out there and now, sort of move on from there.
Fantastic, man. Well done.
I did a quick Google of Gene Wolfe while you were doing that, and a very interesting side note came up. He's an inventor.
Yes.
He came up with the methodology used to create Pringle potato chips.
Yep.
Wow.
Gene Wolfe, the inventor of the Pringle.
There you
That's
go.
absolutely amazing.
Isn't
Every
it-
person
isn't
on
it
planet
bonkers?
Earth has had a Pringle.
What snack did you come up with?
I know,
Is
yeah,
this,
I know,
is this
yeah,
those bloody blue things that we ate that were like crazy hot? Is that where that comes from?
Tarkies. Yeah, no, I've got no claim over the Tarky invention.
Nah, awesome, man. Congratulations. So can people like find this in like your Barnes and Nobles like sort of bookstores, or how do they get their hands on it?
Yeah, if you're interested, look, I've created a website because I'm back in 2000, right? It took me that long to do that I'm still on website train. There is a website called the darkepoch.org, so you can type that in.
Can you spell the
THEDARK and epoch EPOCH.org. So there's a bit of information there about the story.
We'll put it in the run notes.
Yeah. And essentially it's got a link there to the Amazon page where you can order either the Kindle ebook or the physical hard copy, and they just send a copy out to your house. But if anyone here in Adelaide wants a copy and wants a signed copy, happy to do that. What else was I going to say? Yeah.
When do you hit the studio to record the audiobook version?
Well, actually, that's...
For lazy bastards like me.
Yeah. I do want to do an audiobook. I'd love to record it myself. I don't know if I've got the chops.
Page one's right in front of you, mate.
Yeah,
We've
that's
got,
right. No,
You've got a
15 hours to
microphone?
kill.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah. It's, but there are some odd... So the Amazon audiobook distribution works a bit weirdly if you're in Australia. If I was in the US, UK, etc., I could do it self-publish and do it quite easily. Here I need a distributor, so I could either kind of record it and give it to someone and hope they can kind of quality control check it and get it uploaded to the relevant platforms, but it's just another layer to
we can just
doing
make a whole new podcast stream.
well
Chris Fresh has got 50 million different shows to his name. We can do one.
I don't know if I
the
can.
Dark Epoch, sponsored by Toy Power.
I'd love to do that. In fact, I'd love to do that. I don't know now that I've published through Amazon whether I'm allowed to do that with the
legally.
copyright.
Well,
so
just on a side note, we're going to release the Light Epoch soon. So nothing to do with this, but it is an audio recording of a certain book, story that I just came up with.
If we read it backwards,
Yeah.
is that okay?
yeah, we have to check.
The
I have to
time
check
travel
the.
storyline
that's right.
would line up perfectly.
But I'll certainly look into that. I'd love to do it. It's something you won't. I mean, I'm not going to make any money out of this thing, right? Like I understand that it's it's a very saturated market, but very happy with the story. If you're interested, check out the website. If you do have an interest, hit me up or order in a copy. I was gonna. I might not do it in this episode, but once people have had a chance to, those that are interested, digest and have a read. I was going to run a competition here for our Toy Pal listeners, right? Because I would love some reviews, right, on Amazon. And as I was talking to Henry and Kay from Lego Masters, and they've put out a book. I think they put it out at COVID time called Brick Dad, and they're like, you need the reviews, right, to get it sort of like out there. So, happy to put up a prize, pick at random from the reviews. I know, Matt, have you ordered a copy or Matt's got a copy.
I'm 3 chapters in.
Oh, there you go.
Hey,
He's started it off.
Wonderful.
I mean, what do you have any thoughts? So this is off the cuff. 3 chapters. You've had the weird.
To be honest, it's on my bedside table, and I read it before bed. The 3 chapters. My wife's asked me what's it about. I'm like, I don't know yet.
Yes.
So it's still very, very early days.
No, that's okay. That's all good. You have the weird.
Scott looks like he's got something
No.
to say.
I just actually very exciting. I just went to Amazon and typed in The Dark. You're the 4th listing that comes
What?
up.
Hey, there it is.
That's odd because
It's proof that our phones listen to us.
Yeah, maybe that's what's happening. So anyway, stay tuned. We'll do we'll run a competition. Yeah, cool. For a review, win a very cool toy of some description, posted internationally, and thanks for listening.
Just on this, it's a decent sized novel, like it's a little bit larger than your standard novel, and it's about 500 pages, which isn't anything to shy away from. Well done, absolutely, congratulations.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Any shout outs before we get out of here? It's been another long one, I've got to be honest. No?
I
Okay,
think we're
cool.
good. I don't think we have time for shout outs.
No, we don't.
Tune in next week as we get some Shipbox Rally into our good systems when Matt joins us again. Matt, thank you for your commentary this episode, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks very much for the invite.
And you've got a Instagram page, Matty. Do you want to plug that?
I do, yeah. I've made my own Instagram page called Teale'o's Toy Box, where I've started cataloging, my latest arrivals and my toy collection in general. And it kind of it's all your fault, Ben. I took inspiration from Ben's advent calendar pictures and thought I'm gonna do the same thing, and I needed somewhere to put them. And then you know what? I need somewhere that's not with my work stuff or friends that don't care about this. And it's not me. It's only you guys know me as Teale'o. It's not a thing. It's very much a toy thing. So Teale'o's Toy Books if you want to see what I'm buying. And then when it comes to December, Ben and I having a photograph competition.
Hell yeah.
Beautiful.
Good stuff. Yeah, no, I'm a follower of the Teale'o's Toy Box with a cup of tea as well, if you do want to have a beautiful cup of tea while you're looking at the pictures. But I do love the Advent beer calendar concept. Great to see how those beers are interpreted. I think that's something very... probably uniquely Australian, isn't it? To pair your beers and your toys. I think that's fantastic.
It's just an excuse. I'm very recently over the last few months really slack with my Instagram plugs and things. So it drives me to be creative and things, and it's something to look forward to. And the beers are done nice as well.
So what a bonus!
It's a
hard life, isn't it, Ben?
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning into another episode of Toy Power, and to all our patrons, thank you so much for your support and chatter on the Discord. Stay safe, take care of one another, and we will see you around the toy aisles.
And until next time, good journey.
You can find the Toy Power team at all the usual online places. Facebook.com/Toy Power Podcast, at Toy Power Podcast on both Twitter and Instagram, or have your say and email us, toypowerpodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe to the show on both iTunes and Stitcher, and please leave us a review. Otherwise, we just assume we're awesome.